Good morning. It's Monday, and I'm and all the pets have many demands this morning. See, look at this. Mmm, tasty. Yeah, we have to give him his pill, and he's figured out how to eat around a pill pocket, and that's just as well because pill pockets are really expensive. So we just crush it up and put it in with a little bit of wet food on a paper plate because we hate to touch the wet food, and using 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 these disposable chopsticks because they are way cheaper than plastic forks. Hey Fiberistas, all right, it's Monday. Today I'm going to finish working on that scarf. I promised that I would show you guys that scarf as soon as I finished the hem stitch. At the end of the year, I really like doing Leonie Dawson's business planner for the following year. So I have the digital version that I download and do work on to plan out business and business goals and life goals for 2018. If you guys have been following me for a while, Urban GypZ's been in a state of flux for the last couple of years, starting from when we began our move. And I don't really dye and sell yarn anymore, but I am doing the yarn for my own purposes. And I think that the yarn was taking me away from making the fiber art, or let me say, making the fiber art that I wanted to do. I like dyeing yarn, but I think dyeing yarn was only part of the work that I really wanted to do. So that's why I kind of put a stop to it, and now I have all this stuff to use in my work. I need to set some goals for next year. Take a look back on this year because it's kind of hard to see the progress I've made on this year and look at what the goals I had set out for 2017 were and if I followed through. I'm hoping that by setting the goals that I would do in 2018, I'll pay a little more attention to how my activities line up with my goals, because I think that's where sometimes I fall down, is that I don't reassess my goals and change them up if they don't seem to be fitting the direction that I feel I should be going. And that's the plan for today. Oh, and editing video. Because a big chunk of my day doing vlogmas is editing video. But it's getting to be less and less. I'm getting a lot quicker. Except for, I have to tell you, I didn't film a whole lot yesterday, so I mean there's not a lot there. But I guess that's part of it. Sometimes that's just what it is. And that's just what I'll share. Because this is the real thing. This is what my life looks like right here. Maybe I'll clean up. That's what my day, I hope, will look like. So we'll see. I'll be back to let you know how it actually turns out. So, off to work. I finished it. Yay! So yes, oh, be careful of that flower. So I finished the art yarn warp scarf, and you can see the fringes. I just left them. I did a little hem stitch. I'll put a link down below to the video that I did on how to do a hem stitch. You would do it the same way on an art yarn warp. You would just, I did just clusters of 3. Here it is. Actually, I guess this is the front side since there's that flower there. And then you can see where I have a section that I didn't weave. Not too big, just a little bit. Did some more weaving, and really you see how the weaving's just kind of tacking it together, and even in this little bit of moving it around, the evenness kind of has worked itself out to just so the weft lands just wherever it's better suited for that art yarn. So here's two more sections of unwoven areas, and I chose these because having to do with, you know, some of the interest of the yarn that was coming through that I didn't want to cover up with any of the weaving with the weft threads. And I did a section of blue, and then at the very end I did some weft facing weaving just to shore up those edges. So yeah, somebody had asked me how long the warp was. Let's see. And I cut off just a little bit. I'd say I cut off about 6 inches total on the ends. As I'd consider that like loom waist. So to here to there is 5 feet. 60 inches plus 37, that's 97 inches. So it's about an 8-foot long scarf, and then add about 6 inches of loom waist. So the warp was probably a total of between 8.5 to 9 feet long. So this is, and that got a scarf that's really, you know, plenty big enough to do once around, with even a little bit of enough to do a little knot, and then not have it too bulky. So I think that's the perfect length. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys more than you know. You guys really inspire me to get into the studio and do some work, and it's almost as if you guys are in here with me. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment below, or get into the Facebook group, or even on my Facebook page, which I link down below, and ask questions, and I will answer them. I'll answer them as I can on the vlog while we're doing this. Yeah, I found out the hard way that my microphone on the Mac is really crappy, but so I use let's see, that's what I use now for recording. I've had it for a while. It works great for if I'm doing something on the computer, but I don't, there's no way to really plug it into my iPhone. But I also have this little number for my iPhone. It fits into that jack right there. I'm trying to do better about actually using my equipment, because if, you know, it's one thing to have bad pictures, it's another thing to have really bad sound. And I know several of my videos had really bad sound and lighting, bad lighting. I also have, let me show you this. I have this, woo, and it clips on to your phone, kind of like that. So I have it clipped to my computer right now, because that's another thing I noticed, is that my lighting's bad on my vlog. So I'm just trying to work it out. This thing I got, I'll put some links down below to where you can get this stuff on Amazon, because that's where most of this came from, is Amazon. I have lights that I used to use for shooting product. But I used to use that with a softbox, and that would diffuse the light, and I need to get some softbox that fits right on top of the lights. And never ending. Just trying to make do with the best that I've got. When I started these vlogs, I kind of boneheaded forgot that I had the tools. Now I'm using my tools, so hopefully the sound and the lighting's a little better on this video, and hopefully it'll be better from here on out. Today was, I want to say it's a wash. It wasn't a wash because, you know, I edited a video, and that's already posted. I just have to make a thumbnail for that. And I finished the scarf, which I showed you. And then I spent a lot of time on the healthcare.gov site trying to sign up for insurance. And that's always a confusing thing, but it's all good. I'm just grateful that we're able to get some insurance that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. I didn't get a chance to do Leonie Dawson's Biz and Life Planner today, and that's something I really want to do just for myself. I need to kind of look back on the year. I've used Leonie Dawson's planners for the last 5 years, and they've been awesome. They've really helped me grow my business and helped me get my thoughts organized, and it's always interesting to look back at last year's and see how far, see what changed and see what goals that I reached. A lot of times I'm surprised by what I accomplished. So it'll be interesting this year because this year was a little rudderless. It usually takes me more than a day to do her planners. It usually takes about a week for me to just really kind of go through them and do them thoughtfully. The thing that I fail to do is to assess those planners during the year. And I really want to schedule and make myself do that because I think it's really important to stay on track with that. So that being said, that's kind of what I'm going to do this evening, is kind of curl up and start to go through those planners and fill in what I can and just go gently with myself. I don't know. I mean, do you guys want to hear about some fiber business? I know I have a couple of people who watch who also are in fiber businesses and are and have been masterminding through their videos. And I was wondering, and so I'm thinking that maybe it would be good to share some of that information as well. Just like I shared with you my filming equipment. But yeah, I would love to share some tips about the ins and outs of running an online lady business. Tomorrow's a studio day. And tomorrow I have to bring Trixie to the vet, and then Glass Studio is on Tuesday nights. So I'm going to do some of that. Maybe tomorrow I'll share with you some of the glass projects I've been working on. I don't work on those as often because the studio is not open as often as the clay studio, but glass is fun. This is my first time doing fused glass this year. I started about a year ago. I only wish that the studio was open more often. And lately there's so many people in there, sometimes it's hard to like snag some table space to get some work done. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.